My beloved child, I know you are tired. Not just the kind of tired that sleep can fix. I know your heart is tired. Your mind is tired. Your soul is tired. You have been carrying so much for so long that sometimes you don't even know how to explain what is wrong. When someone asks you, "Are you okay?" you pause, because how do you explain a tiredness that has no simple name? So you smile. You say, "I'm fine." You keep moving. You answer the messages. You do what needs to be done. You show up. You try to be strong. But when you are finally alone, everything you have been holding inside begins to feel heavy again. My child, I know about the things you don't tell anyone. I know about the thoughts that keep you awake at night. I know about the worries you carry silently. I know about the disappointment you tried to overcome. I know about the people you are trying to forgive. I know about the future you keep thinking about. I know how many times you have told yourself, "I just need to keep going." And you have. Even when you were tired. Even when you were disappointed. Even when your heart wanted to stop hoping. You kept going. But hear me now, my child. You do not always have to be strong. You have been trying to hold yourself together because you are afraid that if you let go, everything will fall apart. You have been carrying burdens as though everything depends on you. You have tried to solve problems that have no solution yet. You have tried to understand people who refuse to explain themselves. You have tried to fix situations that are beyond your control. You have carried yesterday's regrets, today's responsibilities, and tomorrow's fears, all at the same time. No wonder your heart is tired. You were never meant to carry all of that alone. My child, there are burdens I never placed in your hands. But somewhere along the way you picked them up. Someone's opinion of you. You carried it. Someone's rejection. You carried it. A mistake from your past. You carried it. A future that hasn't even happened yet. You carried that too. And now your soul is exhausted from holding things that were never yours to control. So come to me. Not when you have figured everything out. Not when you finally feel strong. Not when you have the perfect words. Come to me tired. Come to me confused. Come to me disappointed. Come to me with all the questions you have been afraid to ask. You don't need to clean up your heart before you come into my presence. You don't need to pretend with me. You can say, "God, I don't know what to do anymore." And I will still be here. You can say, "God, I am tired of waiting." And I will still listen. You can say, "God, I am trying, but I don't know how much more I can take." And I will not turn away from you. My child, I am not disappointed by your weakness. I know you are humans. I know there are days when faith feels easy and days when faith feels difficult. There are days when you wake up full of hope. And there are days when simply getting out of bed feels like a battle. I see both. I do not only see you when you are praying beautifully. I see you when you have no words. I do not only see you when you feel faithful. I see you when doubt enters your mind. I do not only stay near when you feel strong. I am near when you are weak too. Perhaps you have forgotten that. Perhaps life has taught you that you must always perform. Always be useful. Always be available. Always be strong. Always have an answer. But my child, you do not have to earn my love by exhausting yourself. You do not have to prove your worth by carrying more than you can bear. You are loved before you accomplish anything. You are loved when you succeed. You are loved when you fail. You are loved when you feel close to me. And you are loved when you feel far away. Nothing about your exhaustion makes you less valuable. Nothing about your tears makes you weak in my eyes. Nothing about your difficult season has changed my heart toward you. I still see you, and I know how hard you have been trying. I know the effort nobody applauded. I know the battles nobody knew you were fighting. I know how many times you wanted to give up but chose to take one more step. I know about the days when you felt empty but still showed kindness to someone else. I know about the nights when you cried and woke up the next morning pretending nothing happened. I know. And my child, I am proud of you for surviving what you thought would destroy you. But I do not want you to spend the rest of your life only surviving. There is more for you than constantly fighting to make it through the day. There is rest. There is peace. There is healing. And perhaps the first step toward finding it is admitting something you have been afraid to admit. You are tired. You don't have to hide that anymore. You don't have to keep telling yourself that you are okay when your heart is asking for rest. Stop running from your own exhaustion. Listen to it. Your tired heart is trying to tell you something. Slow down. Breathe. Release what you cannot control. You have been staring so far into the future that you have forgotten how to live in this moment. You are trying to answer questions about tomorrow while today is still asking you to rest. What if you don't have to solve everything tonight? What if not knowing is not the same as failing? What if the reason you feel overwhelmed is because you are trying to carry an entire future that hasn't arrived? My child, tomorrow is not in your hands yet. And that is okay. You don't need tomorrow's strength today. When tomorrow comes, there will be grace for tomorrow. Right now, there is grace for this moment. Take this moment. Don't rush through it. Don't fill it with fear. Breathe. You are still here. Your story is still being written. The chapter may be exhausting, but the story is not over. And just because you cannot see the answer yet does not mean there is no answer. Just because the road feels long does not mean you are walking in the wrong direction. Just because your heart is tired does not mean your hope is dead. Sometimes hope becomes quiet before it becomes strong again. Sometimes a heart needs rest before it can dream again. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop trying to carry everything by yourself. So let me ask you something, my child. What have you been carrying that you need to place down? Is it the fear of what might happen? Is it the pain of what already happened? Is it a person you cannot change? Is it guilt from something I have already forgiven? Is it the pressure to have your entire life figured out? Whatever it is, you don't have to keep holding it tonight. Give it to me. One burden at a time. One fear at a time. One prayer at a time. You don't have to release everything perfectly. Just open your hands. And let me begin to carry what has been crushing your heart. My beloved child, I know how tired your heart has become. I knew before you found the words to say it. And I have not forgotten you in your exhaustion. I have been beside you through every long day. Every restless night, every hidden tear, every silent prayer, every moment you wondered whether anyone understood. I understood, and I am still here. You may feel tired now, but this is not where your story ends. Rest, my child. Breathe. You don't have to run tonight. You don't have to fight every battle tonight. You don't have to have every answer tonight. For now, just remember this. You are not carrying this alone. My beloved child, now that you have admitted that you are tired, I want you to understand something deeper. Being tired does not mean you have failed. You have been measuring yourself by how much you can endure. You think that if you can keep going, keep working, keep smiling, keep believing, then you are strong. But sometimes strength is not found in pushing harder. Sometimes strength is found in knowing when to stop. You have been running on empty for too long. Giving to others when you had almost nothing left. Encouraging people while your own heart was crying for encouragement. Listening to everyone else's problems while keeping your own pain locked inside. You became the person everyone could depend on. But who did you depend on? Who did you call when you were the one falling apart? Who did you tell when the weight became too heavy? Perhaps you told no one. Perhaps you convinced yourself that nobody would understand. So you became quiet. You carried it privately. And every day you added another burden to the ones you were already carrying. My child, you were never meant to become a prisoner of your own strength. There is nothing wrong with needing help. There is nothing wrong with saying, "I can't do this by myself." There is nothing shameful about admitting that your heart needs rest. You don't become less faithful because you become tired. You don't become less valuable because you need a pause. And you don't become less worthy because you cannot fix everything. I am not asking you to save yourself. I am asking you to trust me. Think about how many times you have tried to force an answer because waiting felt unbearable. You thought, if I can just figure this out, if I can just make this person understand, if I can just work harder, if I can just try one more time, then everything will finally settle down. But some things do not become peaceful because you work harder. Some things become peaceful when you surrender them. My beloved child, there are doors you have been trying to open with exhausted hands. You keep pushing. You keep knocking. You keep wondering why they won't move. But perhaps you have not considered that you were never supposed to force that door. Perhaps there is another door. Perhaps there is another path. Perhaps there is another timing. And perhaps the thing you're calling a delay is actually protection. You cannot see what I can see. You see the closed door. I see what is behind it. You see the opportunity you lost. I see the danger you avoided. You see the relationship that ended. I see the healing that can begin. You see the season that didn't make sense. I see the lessons it planted inside you. My child, don't judge the whole story by one painful chapter. You are standing too close to the page. Let me show you the bigger picture. There will come a day when something that hurts you today will make sense in a way you cannot imagine right now. You will look back and say, "Now I understand why I had to walk through that." But until that day comes, trust me anyway. Trust me without having every explanation. Trust me when the road is unclear. Trust me when your emotions are loud. Trust me when the answer seems late. Because faith is not always feeling certain. Sometimes faith is simply saying, "God, I don't understand, but I will not let go of you." My beloved child, I know there are moments when you wonder whether I have forgotten you. You look at other people's lives. You see their answered prayers, their celebrations, their progress, their relationships, their opportunities, and then you look at yourself. You wonder, "God, when will it be my turns?" That question has lived inside you longer than you admit. You try to be happy for others, and you are, but somewhere underneath that happiness is a quiet ache. You wonder why their door opened while yours remained closed. Why their season changed while yours stayed the same. Why they seem to be moving forward while you feel stuck. My child, do not measure my love for you by someone else's timeline. Their journey is not your journey. Their chapter is not your chapter. Their blessing does not mean you have been forgotten. There is no shortage in me. Another person's answered prayer does not reduce what I can do in your life. So stop looking sideways. Look toward me. Your story has its own timing. And timing matters. A seed does not become a tree the moment it enters the ground. There is a hidden season. A quiet season. A season where nothing seems to be happening. But underneath the soil, something is happening. Roots are forming. Strength is developing. Preparation is taking place. You may be in a hidden season right now. And because you cannot see the growth, you assume there is none. But my child, hidden does not mean forgotten. Quiet does not mean abandoned. Slow does not mean stopped. You may not see what I am doing yet. But that does not mean I am doing nothing. There are things happening beneath the surface of your life that you cannot measure today. Your character is changing. Your priorities are changing. Your understanding is changing. Your heart is becoming stronger. And perhaps you don't even recognize the person you are becoming. You have survived things that once terrified you. You have learned things pain had to teach you. You have discovered that you can live without certain people. You have learned that not every closed door deserves another knock. You have learned that peace is more valuable than approval. You have learned that being alone is better than being surrounded by people who constantly break your spirit. You have learned, and that learning is part of your preparation. My beloved child, do not despise the season that taught you how to stand. You may wish it had never happened, but I can still use it. I can take what was meant to break you and use it to build wisdom inside you. I can take your tears and turn them into compassion. I can take your disappointment and turn it into discernment. I can take your waiting and turn it into patience. I can take your loneliness and teach you how to hear my voice. Nothing has to be wasted. Not even the nights you thought were meaningless. Not even the years you wished you could erase. Not even the mistakes you wish you could undo. You cannot rewrite yesterday, but you can surrender yesterday to me. And when you do, yesterday loses its power over tomorrow. My child, stop punishing yourself for things you cannot change. You have replayed certain moments in your mind hundreds of times. You keep asking, what if I had said something different? What if I had made another decision? What if I had walked away sooner? What if I had stayed? What if I had known then what I know now? But you did not know then what you know now. You made decisions with the understanding you had at that time. You were learnings. You were growings. You were humans. So give yourself permission to stop living inside old moments. You can learn from them without living in them. You can remember without returning. You can regret without remaining trapped in regret. My beloved child, I have already seen every version of you. The version who made mistakes. The version who trusted the wrong people. The version who stayed too long. The version who left too soon. The version who was afraid. The version who was angry. The version who doubted. The version who cried. And I still love you. So why are you demanding perfection from yourself when I am offering you grace? You don't have to become perfect before you come closer to me. Come closer while you are still healing. Come closer while you are still learning. Come closer while you are still trying. My child, you don't have to impress me. You only have to come home. And when you come home, you will find that I was not standing there with condemnation. I was waiting with open arms. Because I know how tired your heart has become. And I don't want you to keep running from the place where you can finally rest. Come to me, stay with me, and let me teach your heart how to breathe again. My beloved child, there is something else I want you to release. The need to understand why everything happened the way it did. I know you have asked me this question many times. Why did that person leave? Why did that opportunity disappear? Why did the prayer seem unanswered? Why did the door close? Why did the season last so long? Why did you have to experience something you never asked for? You have searched for answers because you thought understanding would finally give your heart peace. But sometimes, my child, peace does not come from understanding everything. Sometimes peace comes from trusting me even when you don't understand. You may never receive an explanation for every painful moment. And I know that is difficult for you. You want every piece to fit. You want every loss to have a reason. You want every delay to make sense. But there are things you cannot see from where you are standing. You see one moment. I see the entire journey. You see what was taken. I see what can still be built. You see the ending. I see what comes next. So don't let an unanswered question become the foundation of your life. You can live without knowing everything. You can move forward without having every explanation. You can trust me without having every detail. My child, you have spent too much energy trying to decode things that were never meant to be decoded by you. You analyzed every conversation, every silence, every message, every change in someone's behavior. You wondered what you did wrong. You wondered whether you should have tried harder. You wondered whether you were enough. And slowly, you turned someone else's actions into a measurement of your worth. But hear me, someone else's inability to recognize your value does not make you less valuable. Their rejection does not define you. Their silence does not define you. Their departure does not define you. Their opinion does not define you. You are not what someone decided to do with you. You are who I created you to be. And I want you to remember that. My beloved child, there are people you have been trying to convince to love you. You have been explaining yourself, proving your heart, showing your loyalty, trying to make them see how much you cared. But love that must constantly be proven becomes exhausting. You don't have to spend your whole life begging someone to recognize what I already know. There will be people who misunderstand you. Let them. There will be people who walk away. Let them. There will be people who choose not to see your heart. You cannot force them to see. But don't allow their blindness to make you blind to your own worth. My child, you are still worthy of love. Even after rejection, even after betrayal, even after mistakes, even after disappointments, your heart may have scars, but scars do not make you unlovable. They prove that you survived something. And I can use even those scars to teach you compassion. You know what pain feels like now. You know what loneliness feels like. You know what it means to wait. You know what it means to lose. And one day, those experiences will help you understand someone else's tears. Your pain can become a place from which compassion grows. But don't make your pain your identity. You have experienced difficult things. You are not the difficult things you experienced. There is a difference. My beloved child, I know you have also become tired of starting over. Every time you thought you had finally found stability, something changed. You had to rebuild. Again, and again, and again. You began to wonder, how many times do I have to start over? But sometimes starting over is not going backward. Sometimes it is the beginning of a life that could not have been built from where you were. A new beginning can feel like a loss at first, because you are leaving what is familiar. Even if the familiar was painful, it was still familiar. And the unknown can be frightening. But don't confuse unfamiliar with wrong. The new road may feel strange because you have never walked it before. That doesn't mean I am not on it with you. My child, you are entering seasons you have never experienced. That is why you cannot use your past as a map for everything ahead. Your past can teach you, but it does not have to control you. There are things you will learn only by walking forward. There are doors you will discover only after leaving the old one. There are blessings you cannot recognize until you stop comparing them to what you lost. So don't keep staring behind you. There is nothing wrong with remembering. But don't build your home inside yesterday. Yesterday already happened. You cannot live there anymore. Come forward. I have something for you in the days ahead. My beloved child, perhaps you are afraid that if you stop worrying, something bad will happen. You have become so accustomed to being alert that peace feels unfamiliar. You think, if I stop thinking about the problem, I'll be unprepared. So you rehearse every possible disaster. You imagine every conversation. You prepare for every rejection. You expect something to go wrong. You call it being realistic. But sometimes, it is simply exhaustion wearing the clothes of preparation. You don't have to mentally suffer through something before it happens. If the difficult moment comes, I will give you strength for it then. But you don't need to experience it 100 times in your imagination first. My child, don't punish yourself with possibilities. Let tomorrow arrive in its own time. Today has enough for you. Today needs your attention. Today needs your breath. Today needs your heart. And I am with you today. My beloved child, there is another thing I want you to know. You have been waiting for a feeling that tells you everything is finally okay. You think one morning you will wake up and suddenly feel completely healed. No fear, no sadness, no questions, no memories, no weaknesses. But healing often doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes healing is quieter. One day you notice that something that used to destroy you doesn't hurt as much. One day you realize you didn't think about the person who hurt you. One day you hear an old song and instead of crying, you simply remember. One day you walk into a situation that once terrified you and realize you are no longer the same person. That is healing too. Don't dismiss small progress because it isn't dramatic. Small steps are still steps. You are allowed to heal slowly. You are allowed to have good days and difficult days. You are allowed to move forward and sometimes feel tired again. That does not mean you are back at the beginning. It means you are humans. My child, don't be discouraged by the days when the old feelings return. A difficult day does not erase your progress. A moment of sadness does not mean you have failed. A tear does not mean you are weak. Sometimes tears simply mean your heart is releasing what it has carried for too long. So if you need to cry, cry. Don't apologize for your tears. You don't have to hide them from me. Remember the title of this message written across your heart. I know how tired you have become. I know, and I am not asking you to pretend otherwise. I am asking you to let me meet you there. Right there, in the tiredness, in the confusion, in the silence, in the waitings, in the uncertainty. You don't have to climb out of the valley before I come near you. I come near you in the valleys. I walk beside you there. And when your legs are too weak to continue, I can carry you. My beloved child, you have spent so long asking, when will this season end? But perhaps there is another question worth asking. What is God teaching me while I am here? Not every season is meant to be rushed through. Some seasons teach you things comfort never could. Patience, discernment, compassion, humility, strength, dependence on God. And when you finally leave that season, you may realize you are carrying something far more valuable than the thing you originally asked for. You are carrying a deeper faith, a quieter confidence, a heart that no longer needs to control everything, a heart that knows, if God brought me through before, He can bring me through again. That is what I want to build inside you. Not a life where nothing ever goes wrong, but a heart that knows where to turn when something does. My child, you are tired. I know, but you are not finished. You are weary, but you are not forgotten. You are uncertain, but you are not without direction. You are hurting, but you are not without hope. And you may feel weak, but you are not alone. So tonight, place your hand over your heart. Take a slow breath and say this with me. I don't have to carry everything. Again, I don't have to carry everything. And one more time. God is with me and I can rest. Let those words settle inside you, because they are true. My beloved child, I want you to rest in something you have forgotten. You don't have to earn your place with me. You have spent so much of your life trying to prove yourself. Prove that you are capable. Prove that you are strong. Prove that you are worthy. Prove that you deserve to be loved. And every time you felt that you failed, you became harder on yourself. You spoke to yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you love. You called yourself weak. You called yourself foolish. You reminded yourself of every mistake. You remembered every failure. And you wondered why your heart felt so heavy. My child, how can your heart rest when you are constantly fighting against yourself? You don't need another voice condemning you. You need grace. And I want you to learn how to give yourself some of the grace I have already given you. You are still learning. You are still growing. You are still becoming. So stop demanding that you already know everything. You don't, and that is okay. There are things you will understand later. There are lessons you can only learn through experience. There are answers that will come with time. You don't have to have everything figured out today. My beloved child, you have also been carrying the pressure of being where you think you should be. You look at your age. You look at your circumstances. You look at other people's accomplishments. And you quietly tell yourself, I should be further by now. You think you should have more. You think you should have achieved more. You think you should have healed already. You think you should have figured out your purpose already. But who told you that your journey had to happen according to someone else's clock? My child, there is no race between you and the person beside you. Stop turning someone else's progress into evidence that you are behind. You don't know their entire story. You don't know what they had to overcome. You don't know what they are carrying privately. And they don't know yours. So don't compare the visible part of their life with the invisible part of yours. Comparison will steal peace from you if you allow it. Instead, look at where you were. Look at what you survived. Look at how much you have changed. There was a time when certain things would have destroyed you. But now you can stand. There was a time when rejection would have made you question your entire worth. Now you understand that not everyone is meant to stay. There was a time when you thought one closed door meant your life was over. Now you know there can be another door. You have grown. You may not see it because you are living inside the process. But I see it. I see the growth you overlook. My child, please stop calling yourself behind. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. A tree does not apologize for taking years to grow. A sunrise does not rush because someone else saw daylight first. And you don't have to rush because someone else appears to be ahead. Your timing is not my timing. Trust me, my beloved child. There is another burden you need to release. The burden of everyone's expectations. You have spent too much of your life wondering what people will think. What will they say? Will they approve? Will they understand? Will they be disappointed? Will they think I made the wrong choice? And because you are afraid of disappointing people, you have sometimes disappointed yourself. You said yes when you wanted to say no. You stayed silent when you needed to speak. You stayed where you were unhappy because leaving might upset someone. You became what others expected you to become. And slowly, you forgot to ask what I was calling you to become. My child, you are not called to live your life for everyone's approval. Some people will misunderstand you. Let them. Some people will disagree with you. Let them. Some people will not understand why you made certain choices. They don't have to. You don't need everyone to understand your obedience to me. Sometimes the path I lead you on will make no sense to people who cannot see what I see. So don't abandon your peace just because someone else doesn't understand your decision. My beloved child, you have been asking for peace while continuing to hold on to things that disturb it. You cannot hold the past tightly and expect your hands to be free for the future. You cannot keep replaying old conversations and expect your mind to become quiet. You cannot keep asking why someone hurt you while refusing to release them from your thoughts. Forgiveness does not mean what happened was acceptable. It means you refuse to let what happened control the rest of your life. You can forgive without returning. You can forgive without trusting someone again. You can forgive without pretending it never happened. Forgiveness is not saying, "It didn't hurt." It is saying, "It will not own me anymore." My child, some of you have been carrying anger because you think anger protects you. You think if you stay angry, you won't be hurt again. But anger can become another chain. You keep thinking about the person. You keep remembering what they did. You keep imagining what you should have said. And even though they are no longer present, they still occupy space inside your mind. Release them. Not for them. For you. You deserve to have your mind back. You deserve peaceful nights. You deserve moments where their name doesn't immediately bring pain. Let me handle what you cannot. Justice does not require you to destroy yourself with resentment. My beloved child, I know there are things you still wish had happened differently. I know there are apologies you never received. There are explanations you never got. There are endings that never felt complete. But you cannot keep waiting for someone else to give you closure before you allow yourself to heal. Sometimes closure is not a conversation. Sometimes closure is acceptance. Acceptance that it happened. Acceptance that you cannot change it. Acceptance that you deserved better. And acceptance that your life can still become beautiful. You don't need their apology to move forward. You don't need their permission to heal. You don't need their understanding to begin again. You can begin again with me. My child, I want you to notice something. You are still breathing. Your heart is still beating. You are still capable of loving. You are still capable of hoping. You are still capable of praying. That means the story is still open. Don't close the book because one chapter was painful. There are pages you have never read. There are moments ahead you have never experienced. There are reasons to smile that you haven't discovered yet. There are prayers you will one day thank me for answering. There are moments when you will look around and realize, I made it. And when that day comes, you may remember this season. You may remember how tired you were, how uncertain you felt, how many nights you wondered if anything would change. And you will realize, I was carrying you through all of it. My beloved child, you don't need to know when that day will come. You only need to keep walking. One day at a time. One prayer at a time. One breath at a time. One small step at a time. Don't demand a giant leap from yourself. If all you can do today is take one step, take one. If all you can pray today is, God help me, then pray that. If all you can do is sit quietly in my presence, then sit. I am not measuring the length of your prayer. I am looking at your heart, and I know when your heart is tired. My child, you have been asking me for strength, but perhaps you have been looking for strength as the ability to keep carrying everything. That is not the strength I want to give you. I want to give you the strength to put things down, the strength to say no, the strength to walk away, the strength to rest, the strength to forgive, the strength to begin again, the strength to trust me with what you cannot control. That is strength too, and you are going to learn it. Slowly, gently, one day at a time. So tonight, my beloved child, don't make another promise that you will be stronger tomorrow. Instead, make a different promise. Promise yourself that you will stop treating your exhaustion like a weakness. Promise yourself that you will listen when your heart asks for rest. Promise yourself that you will bring your burdens to me instead of hiding them. And when you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed again, remember, you are not alone in this. I am here. I see you. I know you. I love you. And I will not abandon you in the middle of your healing. Your tired heart does not frighten me. Your questions do not frighten me. Your tears do not frighten me. Your weakness does not push me away. It is precisely there that I want to meet you. So rest now. You have carried enough for today. Let tomorrow wait. Let the unanswered questions wait. Let the things you cannot change wait. For this moment, just breathe. And remember that the God who brought you this far will not leave you here. My beloved child, stay here with me for a little longer. You have spent so much time trying to get somewhere, trying to reach the next answer, the next opportunity, the next season, the next version of yourself, always thinking that peace is waiting somewhere ahead. But I want you to discover something today. Peace can begin right here. Not when everything is fixed. Not when every prayer is answered. Not when every person understands you. Not when your circumstances finally become perfect. Right here, in this moment, with me. My child, you have been waiting for life to become easier before allowing your heart to rest. But what if rest does not require everything around you to change? What if rest begins when you realize that you don't have to control everything around you? You cannot control every outcome. You cannot control every person. You cannot control every opportunity. You cannot control what tomorrow brings. But you can place all of it into my hands. And my hands are stronger than yours. So stop squeezing so tightly. Open your hands. Let go, not because you don't care, but because you trust me. My beloved child, I know there are still things you are afraid to release. You are afraid that if you stop worrying about them, something will go wrong. You think your anxiety is protecting you. But anxiety cannot protect you from a future that hasn't happened. It can only steal the peace you have today. So don't sacrifice today's peace for tomorrow's possibilities. If tomorrow brings a challenge, I will give you strength for tomorrow. If tomorrow brings a decision, I will give you wisdom for that decision. If tomorrow brings a door, I will show you whether to walk through it. If tomorrow brings a storm, I will not abandon you in it. You don't need to borrow fear from tomorrow. Tomorrow already has its own grace. My child, look at how far you have already come. There were moments you thought you would never survive. There were nights when you wondered whether morning would ever feel different. There were seasons when your heart felt completely empty. And yet, you are still here. You may not feel strong, but look at you. You kept going. You kept breathing. You kept searching. You kept praying. Even when your prayer became nothing more than a whisper. Even when your faith became nothing more than a tiny spark. You kept that spark alive. And I saw it. I never despised your small faith. I never demanded that you feel powerful every day. Sometimes all you could offer me was a broken, "Help me," and that was enough to begin again. My beloved child, I want you to stop measuring your faith by how emotional you feel. Some days you will feel close to me. Some days you will feel nothing. Don't let your feelings decide what is true. I am still God when you feel peaceful. I am still God when you feel afraid. I am still God when you feel hopeful. I am still God when you feel discouraged. Your feelings change. My presence does not. Your circumstances change. My love does not. People change. My faithfulness does not. You may lose your sense of direction sometimes, but you will never lose my ability to guide you. My child, there will be mornings when you wake up and the heaviness is still there. Don't be discouraged. Healing does not always announce itself. Sometimes it happens quietly. Sometimes you heal while you are simply living. Sometimes you become stronger without realizing it. One day, you will notice that the thing that once kept you awake no longer controls your thoughts. One day, you will hear the story of your past and realize you no longer live inside it. One day, you will understand that the person you became through the struggle is stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than the person who entered it. And you will realize, the season did not destroy you. It transformed you. My beloved child, don't be ashamed of the person you had to become to survive. You did what you knew how to do. You protected yourself. You built walls. You became cautious. You stopped trusting easily. You learned to hide your emotions. Maybe those things helped you survive a difficult season. But you don't have to live behind those walls forever. There is a time to protect your heart. And there is also a time to open it again. Let me teach you the difference. You don't have to become naive. You don't have to trust everyone. You don't have to ignore wisdom. But you also don't have to assume that everyone will hurt you because someone did. The future is not obligated to repeat the past. My child, you are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to dream again. You are allowed to laugh without feeling guilty. You are allowed to enjoy a good day without wondering when it will end. You are allowed to believe that something beautiful can still happen. Your pain did not cancel your future. Your disappointment did not cancel my purpose. Your delay did not cancel my promise. And your tiredness does not mean you have reached the end. Sometimes it simply means you need to rest before you continue. So rest. Let your heart become quiet. Let your mind breathe. Let me carry what you cannot. My beloved child, I want you to remember something when this message ends. You may forget many of the words I have spoken, but don't forget this one truth. You are not alone. When you wake up tomorrow, I will still be there. When you face the thing you have been dreading, I will still be there. When you receive the answer you have been waiting for, I will still be there. When you have another difficult day, I will still be there. When you don't know what to pray, I will still be there. You do not have to search for me in some distant place. Turn your heart toward me. I am near. My child, perhaps you have spent enough time asking, why is this happening to me? Now let your heart begin to ask something different. God, what are you doing in me? What are you teaching me? What are you healing? What are you preparing? What are you removing? What are you building? Because even when you cannot see the destination, I can still be working in you. And one day you will understand why certain things had to change. Why certain people had to leave. Why certain doors remained closed. Why certain prayers took longer. Why certain seasons forced you to slow down. You may not understand today, but you can trust me today. That is enough. My beloved child, tonight before you sleep, I want you to release one final thing. Release the pressure to have everything figured out. You don't, and you don't have to. You are allowed to be in the middle. You are allowed to be uncertain. You are allowed to still be healing. You are allowed to still be learning. You are allowed to still be waiting. You are allowed to not know. I know, and because I know, you can rest. So take a deep breath. Slow down. Let your shoulders relax. Let your heart become quiet. And say, God, I give you what I cannot carry. Again, God, I give you what I cannot carry. Now say, I trust you with tomorrow. And finally, I will rest in your presence tonight. My child, you have carried enough for one day. You don't need to carry tomorrow tonight. You don't need to solve your entire life before you sleep. You don't need to know how the story ends. The author is still writing, and he has not forgotten your name. So close your eyes tonight knowing this. You are seen. You are loved. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. And that tired heart of yours, the heart that has carried so much, the heart that has cried in silence, the heart that kept beating even when hope felt far away, I am not going to abandon it. I will teach it to rest again. I will teach it to hope again. I will teach it to trust again. And when the time comes, I will teach it to rejoice again. So rest now, my beloved child. Let the tears fall if they need to. Let the questions remain unanswered for tonight. Let tomorrow wait. You have nothing to prove, nothing to perform, nothing to hide from me. I know how tired your heart has become. And I am here. I have always been here. And I will still be here when morning comes.